Performance head coach John Dobson and captain Chris van Zyl.
John, I'm sure a really hard one to take. What is just your views on the way that went down?
Yeah, far and away our worst performance of the season. I thought the Sharks, they thoroughly deserved to win that game. Of that I've got no doubt. We were beaten there, but I think what is important is to look at sort of facts and not the emotion of it, which there's a lot of emotion because of disappointment. But if you're going to lose 8 lineouts, they say the multiple is somewhere between 5 and 6, so you're making another 40 tackles. And also to get stripped and turned over, exactly the stuff we didn't want, like we did. It's we say okay, we gave yards in defence and they started bullying us, but it's very hard to defend turnovers. When we're going backwards and they're going forward at such a speed. So I think my overriding thing is that if we'd won, 6 of those lineouts or something like that, it could have been a different result. And the restarts,
From that, you just couldn't get in the rhythm.
We never got it. We never got going. Not for once. We didn't look like scoring. Only time we looked like scoring was with Sergil with that ball bounce. I mean, it was one of those car wreck days. That ball had to bounce. The only way it had to bounce in the first half for Serge was not to score was the way it bounced. And it happened there are a few other occasions like that. So it was just it wasn't one of those days. I don't think there's a mental aspect to it. I mean, as Chris said to me on the way here, if we'd won the 6, if we won those lineouts, I think we'd probably could be having a different conversation. But without that ball, we just couldn't get going. And we were trying to get rhythm. We were trying to play some rugby, and also felt that maybe where we kicked a bit early. I think because I'd stressed maybe a coaching area. I stressed the importance of territory, and so maybe we were kicking a little bit early. I just felt sad for the people who came to Newlands that we served us such a spectacle today.
We spoke about before the game or during the week about the staying power of Sharks' attack and everything. I mean, didn't the conditions also conspire because it was such a stop-start game? I mean, it was there were times. I mean, when they scored that, well, they thought they scored that one try, and they went back to They went back to halfway, and then it took about 3 minutes to decide on the try. Yeah. And then it took them another 2 minutes.
Yeah.
So they had a 5-minute break then, and the water break.
Yeah.
So I mean, the fatigue element was never going to be in that game.
Yeah, we were desperate for it. We were desperate for what we call link time, or tempo, and we just couldn't get going. We couldn't get it going. It was look. I mean, I don't know what. Obviously, we were watching with emotional eyes in the coach's box, but it just seemed like a terrible game of rugby, to be honest. In terms, was it? Yeah. When we look at ball, we got the stat there of how many phases per position, and we were somewhere like two. We go through 2 phases every position. I mean, that figure should be near 10. So, we did. We felt once or twice we had them, almost on the ropes in terms of the tempo. Some of them were sitting down, and you're right. Then there'll be some reason for it not to carry on. Yeah.
Robert, do you think? I know you said you weren't going to deviate from the DNA, but do you think maybe in retrospect, McLeod, 2 tries in 2 matches, maybe you did sort of somehow move away from it?
Yeah, I mean, there was a big accent the whole week was trying to get that. Again, Craig, I honestly feel that, I know it sounds like I'm taking a cheap escape, but those lineouts and those turnovers, we're on the attack, starting to get some rhythm in their 22, it gets stripped there, and they end up scoring down on the side. But there is definitely an element of us losing our way a little bit in terms of the pressure. I mean, I don't see it so much as in terms of how the game played out, but I could just see our body language wasn't quite the same as it was. As much as body language similar to last week, wasn't it? In terms of you could see the guys are visibly steely. So I think you're probably right there.
In terms of the lineouts, what particular aspect was it? Is it throwing, or did the Sharks contest particularly well, or where did it go wrong in the lineout?
It's look, I've got to look at it properly forensically. But, I know there was one overthrow, one underthrow, one missed lift. One wrong call. So it seemed to be just a combination. Is that fair? Chris will know more than me. Where we didn't get it right, Stephen, is that we should have gone to a bailout ball, a ball that's on, and just taken it really simple. But I think we kept trying to push to get middle and back ball to attack with, and we should have maybe just been more conservative there.
Was the scurry change tactical, or was that an injury related?
I think Bongi could have pushed on, but he was pretty stuffed at half time. And when I said to him, "Can you carry on?" he sort of took a wild answer, and I thought, okay. Our plan was to give Scarra a long run, but he took a bit of a bruising in those 2 or 3 scrums before half time, and his face, he could have been HIA, could have been blood. But for Bongi, no, he was finished, I think. I mean, that's a big thing. Is the guys? I mean, the guys left were leaving the field to go on the Springbok tour. I don't know how much of a role they played in some of the performances. I don't know.
Chris, how frustrating was it just to have that line-up malfunction again? Because obviously last week it was an area that the Bulls targeted and kind of disrupted you there, and it also probably was quite a big factor in the semi-final being the kind of game it was.
Yeah, it's very frustrating, and I think what makes it even more difficult is when you it's easy to fix when you don't stick to a plan, but it's when your plan is potentially not right. Those adjustments are almost more difficult to make. I think last year we almost, on our way to the playoffs, we really struggled with our line-out, and yet I think in the playoffs we didn't lose one ball, and it's just contrary to what this year's been, and it just shows you how much of an impact that's had at the end of the day.
You guys also seem to be getting the upper hand at scrum time. I mean,
and at more time.
I mean, to not get more reward from that platform, which was dominant.
I mean, I want to really be careful to look, like Dobbo said, if you're getting into the right areas, I can think of a number of them, and backing an option which we had pre-planned, and that doesn't work, that makes it difficult. And I think if some of those mauls potentially got going at the right times, you're looking at a different game. I just think that's probably the most frustrating thing, is because it's not the way we saw it play out, and it's not what we obviously wanted. I just wish we could have made better adjustments earlier to the plan to ensure that we got more ball.
Chris, the restarts in the first half, is it just good contesting by the Sharks, or did you feel like you guys made some mistakes?
No, I don't know. I mean, I was on the other side. I don't know what exactly.
No, we tried to adapt. We swapped SP and Jay during the game. Look, they were very good. They were very good restarts, and it was very clever. And we sort of sorted them out, but that and the lost lineouts in the first half just no.
So, just in terms of that sort of body language you're talking about, when you defended so well, and they had 2 TMO calls that didn't go.
Yeah.
There was some really good defence as well. It didn't. In a way that would normally lift the energy of the team, and I know you went back and got 3 more points, but it didn't seem to give you the momentum shift that maybe you would expect from that kind of defense.
No, I mean, I thought that was exceptional. They go over our line twice. They've got a scrum under our poles. We end up with a penalty. We kick it. We get a maul. We get another penalty, and to get that sort of exit, our pack was really at half-time. They'd really redlined in terms of effort. Asked them to do 30-40 second scrum, 30-40 second maul. It's a lot. And then I thought, that what actually was a bit deflating was just before half-time when Josh missed touch. Where our maul was going, if we got there and got another penalty or something, gone in 9, but yeah. We just didn't. If I said it wasn't, then it looked like I'm pointing fingers at Josh, which I'm not, because I think that we're poor in lots of decision-making positions. No, it didn't pay off. Neither did Damon at 12 pay off, but. I don't think anybody's seen that change room thinking they had a good game, So.
Do you think it was a bit of stage fright the last two weeks? Maybe after dominating the whole Currie Cup like you did?
I honestly, I go back to what I said at the start, John. That if we'd won those lineup, we lost by 5 points. I mean, in fact, it's a poor indictment. If we'd won the lineups, I'm guaranteed we would have scored 1 try. So. It did. I do think we did get a bit tense towards the end, because the guys are so used to playing a certain thing. So yeah.
Sorry, John. How big a loss was Jana for us?
I think you've nailed it. I think I'm reluctant also to say that too much, because I thought Herschel actually played quite well, but the loss of Janu was seismic. Literally, the way, the rhythm, the leadership. Ask Chris is a.
When did you know?
Pretty much Friday, I think, was the final when we finally decided. He trained Tuesday, didn't train Thursday. Friday captains, he said it was too sore and the nerve was something tingling. But I mean, I think you guys all know rugby well enough to see, if you saw Jana from mark away, he runs, and the speed he brings, and it would have been the way he covers kick space, everything. It could well have been a different picture.
How much of an impact is that? You said just now, the guys are in the change room, none of them feel they're having a good game, but in reality, actually, quite a few of them actually not in the change room, on their way to the airport.
Yeah.
How much of, because the Currie Cup over the years has always had something. I remember when Plum was coaching the Sharks, he used to always say that he often made a mistake by bringing back box and playing box in certain situations. How much of an impact was that on the game, possibly? I mean, so did they talk about that step on the plane, sort of?
It was something that bothered us the whole week. You know, and I mean, we sort of took the matter up, but the guys they had to leave Newlands at 6:15. You know, I think they're still doing the trophy handover. And then you start thinking when Bongi's getting hurt, you know, shit, this guy's got a flight tonight, you know, so let's just make the sub, you know. Shame, poor guy's probably wondering, you know, Wilco's calf, you know, maybe if it was an end result game, we would keep Wilco on, you know, but we think Wilco's on the plane. And also, I don't know where they are mentally, you know. Some of those guys are new Springboks, must be the best experience of their lives, you know. So I think that's probably a factor somewhere in the whole thing.
What do you think, you know, they should do it a week earlier? Maybe have a week before they travel.
Yeah, it's always been, but I think it's always been like that, isn't it? Go, announce the squad, do a week here, and then go.
Maybe they should just not have Box in the final, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I made a mistake there in a couple of selections, but yeah, this one is outside the international window, isn't it? So that's what caused the disruption.
Normally they have a two-week break.
Yeah.
Chris, was there a change in the group dynamics when the Box returned, or did they slot in and just buy into what you had been doing before?
Yeah, no change. And in fact, most of them, you know, all of them buy in completely to what Dobbo has created, and that was definitely not a factor. It's one squad with one goal, a great team environment, and that's why I think that changing them is dead at the moment, because it's such a disappointment for what we've all invested in this campaign. You know, the guys are all emotionally invested. Guys who had been maybe played the first Cheetahs game, went on box duty, and then came back with that same you know, feeling and emotional investment. And yeah, that's why it's just disappointing.
John, would you mind just touching on the guys who've got a Bok caller, Sergio, JD? Haven't seen the squad, but apparently they're.
I think the three debutants, Ruan Null, I think, was added later in the week as well. I mean, Sergio, just the whole season's got every ball out of the air, and today he got. It's just that game. I'm afraid Sergio thought they thoroughly deserve it. I think I probably made the one mistake I probably did make was bringing Chris off and leaving JD on from the point of view of you know, the leadership and what JD must have been going through in that game. You know, he's about to go on a Springbok tour. But then again, you've got Salman Murat, who's, you know, going to have a massive future here. You've got to get him on the field as well. No, I'm very chuffed. Ruanel, he's still got his blazers. They still got their blazers folded over their arms until they actually play those three. But I think Sergio's still got a blazer. He played a Barbarians game. Barbarians. Can you wear your blazer then?
He played at Wembley.
But you're not capped.
Can you wear your?
I don't think you can.
Not she. No, there's another guy's got it. Obviously Scurra. There's somebody else. I can't remember. Not just played. Yeah. Somebody.
Probably hasn't got a test cap.
Yeah. JD, and they all deserve. I'm very chuffed for them.
No, I mean, the big part of the Currie Cup these days is actually. I know you sort of like one of the guys who doesn't carry on to Super Rugby, so it's funny to ask you the question. But you know, the Currie Cup is these days a big stepping stone for what happens from February again next year. I mean, you may not have won the Currie Cup, but I think history shows that sometimes that's actually better for the team going, and it might actually help the Stormers. But what I'm actually trying to ask you is actually, it's been a good campaign from viewpoint of growing confidence and new players coming through.
Yeah, because you know that's what I think. We had at one stage in New Zealand, or at that test against New Zealand, we had 8 forwards with 8 forwards with the Springboks, and we were still winning. You know, our pack was doing really well at Currie Cup level, which is great. I mean, you know, we lost to a very experienced, but you know, if it started this campaign, as I said, before, guys like Cobus van Dijk, we knew him, and you know them, Ernst van Rijn, Dan Creel, they weren't Josh Stander, Herschel Giantcheese, they weren't massive names, and they've done really. We've got a massive amount of depth now. That squad on for next year for the Super Rugby is really fantastic, you know.
And you've also got a guy like Cobus Visa.
Yeah, Cobus Visa didn't play a second. Evie Verlinden didn't play a second. Dan Dup played nanosecond. So it's very exciting for the future of Western Province Rugby. Yeah. I think they really did us proud this whole campaign.
Chris, obviously two very different teams, the Currie Cup side and the Super Rugby side, but what lessons have you learned from last year's success and this year's success as well up into the final that you think can help the Stormers in their campaign?
I think the biggest one is maybe the team dynamic and team culture that the Currie Cup seems to have got right 2 years in a row. And Yeah, but as we now have mentioned, I think there might be now this team dynamic that we could maybe take forward, going forward, and instill that and get that going at Super Rugby level, which would be very exciting.
Okay. Thank you very much, everyone.